new study shows the political system is bypassing the poor.
Big money gets big givers, a reward most Americans could never afford.
This is an almost universal sense that something is deeply wrong in American democracy.
Big corporations and the richest 1% of Americans have poured hundreds of millions of dollars into Washington, purchasing enormous political influence and drowning out the voices of average Americans.
America's working class and poor communities find themselves locked out of the political process. Without resources to fund candidates and shape issues, how can they gain a meaningful voice?
The U.S. Supreme Court decided a case known as Citizens United. The 5-4 ruling said essentially that corporations are people, and for the first time in over 100 years, allowed them to use corporate profits to influence our elections. Secretive front groups quickly sprang up and spent hundreds of millions of dollars on political ads. And 2010 was just a warm-up. In 2012, corporate super PACs are expected to shatter all spending records.
The United States has the lowest voter turnout in the world. In 2008, turnout was 57%, and from there we saw it drop to 37% in 2010, and yet states are enacting laws making it tougher for people to vote, tougher to register as an independent, tougher to vote by mail, tougher to vote earlier. They're making sure that polls close earlier so you have less time to vote. These laws should not be passed at a time when the turnout in this country is lower than any other industrialized nation on earth.
Since 2011, 20 states have enacted or attempted to enact voter suppression laws. Half of them passed voter ID laws, well, including the swing state of Pennsylvania. On Saturday, Pennsylvania House Republican Mike Teresi.
Voter ID, which is going to allow Governor Romney to win the state of Pennsylvania. Done.
First of all, there's a lot of Republicans that believe that everyone should have the right to vote. I don't know what this man was doing when he said that. Frankly, it was not the wisest thing.
Is when the Supreme Court said that voter ID was okay in 2008, they said that it was only okay if the main goal was not partisan. It was only okay if you were
So does that soundbite violate the law?
What it does is give people who want to challenge these laws another hook. That particular time in 2008 was about Indiana, and even though it was a party line vote, they said it looked like there were many reasons, and it would be okay if partisanship was but one.
It's interesting. Most cases of fraud, Joe, happen when elections officials commit fraud, like the Secretary of State in Indiana. It's usually not voters. It's elections officials. The voter ID is not going to eliminate integrity problems by elections officials. And so it is a solution in search of a problem.
Like in New York or in other states, is it the same way that you just go up and you hand a piece of paper to somebody, you sign a name, and that's the only anti-fraud measure they have?
I'm coming down in the middle on this one. Disenfranchisement is a huge issue, as is the integrity of the process. It's never going to be a federal system because we give deference to the states on voting. Every state should have a nonpartisan process where they look at both issues and try to pass something comprehensive so there's integrity and confidence in the system and nobody's disenfranchised. It's not that hard to do.
360 will join forces with any organization, any group to fight these tougher voter ID laws. And you're welcome to contact me directly, Lawrence, here at contactgov360@gmail.com. Thank you very much.